So theoretically, you exercise a lot or you eat well, and this can either like methylate or demethylate genes. So whether it's just turning on or turning off genes based on good habits or bad habits. So like, say I work out and I have a gene for muscle building, like working out can turn that gene on. And then say I didn't train for a while, since I turned that gene on, it'll probably stay on. And then if I trained later, I'll be more likely to build that muscle back faster than if I didn't train before. So it's like, it's a lot of changing your genetics based on what you have done previously, which is kind of a novel concept because people think like your genetics are your genetics and you can't really change them. So like you just pass down, but you can like positively or negatively affect your genetics based on good habits. And I think it's really cool to just like know more about that and understand that from him because it's still a relatively new space. They do a lot of like looking at genetic codes, and it's like a really expensive thing right now. But he's pretty knowledgeable and thinks it'll get like more mainstream as we go. So
Like
it's been,
the everyday person will have more access to what their actual
I think so.
genetic code
I don't
is.
know how far down the road. Yeah. Like
I'd love
just,
that. I think that would be
yeah.
fascinating. You know what I
Yeah, I want
mean?
to do that
Here's
so
what you're
bad.
not using. Like, I don't know. That's all that
It's
stuff
really,
would really inspire me to like, I think, continue to live healthier or whatever. And I don't know. That's
yeah, it's super cool because we have like a couple readings before every class, and they're like 10 to 20 page research papers, but they're like done by him. Like he did the
Mm,
research. And so that we're like reading his research on the topics, and it's pretty crazy,
sick.
but
Yeah, I
it's cool.
there's I've looked into some stuff with like gene testing for like um like what supplements you should or shouldn't be using based on because like you can have I don't know if allergies is the right word, but like different people have different reactions to food, and a lot of that's based on your genetics. And yeah, it'd be cool to know like okay, what foods do I need to eat more of? What maybe do I think is healthy that I'm eating that maybe is having a detrimental effect, or it could be like a combination of foods or supplements that have a negative effect. So yeah, I think that's for someone who is interested in health and like like me, I feel like I have some good habits in place. It's kind of looking how to take the next step and how to continually progress. And I think getting to the nitty gritty for stuff like that, for some people, maybe, they want to get into that, but, they're not doing the everyday stuff that they need to take care of first. So I think it starts with hitting the big rocks and taking care of, sleep and diet and exercise. But then, it's for, the former athlete, like how do you take that next step? How do you continually improve? And I think there's a lot with that and like blood work and like you said, there's a lot you can influence. I feel like a lot of people will blame stuff on their genes and, like have like a victim mindset with that. And obviously, there's some stuff that you can't control, but there's always a lot that you can control. And like you said, that's cool how you can actually shift your genes. And yeah, that's sick. What else you been learning?
A little bit more, just more on that. Like I would say it's never too late. Like even if you don't have a training history, like you have the ability to change your genetics like right now based on exercise, sleep, nutrition. I mean, that's why they say exercise is medicine because like the profound impact that it can have on you now and the impact that just consistency over time has on your future health is really impactful, I think. So even like someone like you, Brandon, like you exercised a ton in college and then took a break. Like just because you exercised a ton in college, you're set up for so much success just because you have that background and foundation. Like that doesn't just go away. So I think it's just really powerful to know what you're doing on a daily basis is making an impact in the long run. And even if it doesn't feel like it's necessarily making a change, it's just like those consistent efforts over time that is working in you.
I
It's
once
really cool.
heard that like basically and I have no idea who said this or if it's true or not, but some of what we're talking about maybe make more sense. Like and I don't think it's like all encompassing or like you said, a dead end if it's not the case. But I think what I heard was like the body that you have at 18 is like more likely what your body wants to be as you go on in the future, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if that's like the end of adolescence or whatever. Like, I don't know if that's even necessarily true, but I feel like maybe that's not the exact cutoff or the point, even. It's more so
Mm-hmm.
like your habits as you're younger or whatever, like, probably allow you to get back to that state easier, whether it's a healthy state or a not as healthy state. You know what I mean? So like if you're more inclined to be able to make muscle well because you trained really hard when you're 18 or 20, like I feel like it's probably easier for you to turn those genes back on and systems and pathways or whatever back on once you pick that up at a later time. Maybe that's true or not. I don't know.
I mean, just like kind of touching on that, just where society has like gone with the obesity epidemic and stuff like that. Like we touched a little bit on this before the show, just the prevalence of like weight loss drugs and stuff like that. You see that in a younger and younger population these days. And I feel like it's kind of a quick fix, but we have seen that exercise and nutrition can have an impact very similar to these drugs. They can activate the same peptides, things like fiber, things like polyphenols that are in fruit. These things can allow your body to produce drugs that are given these days for thousands and thousands of dollars in your own body. So I think it's just really powerful to learn that what we do, whether that's exercise, whether that's diet, whether that's sleep, that we are impacting our body in a positive light, and we don't need necessarily a quick fix, because in the long run, you're not going to be able to probably take that drug for life, and what you lose or what you depend on will come back and haunt you later on. So I think you're seeing these people come off of drugs like Ozempic with a lot of muscle loss because they were on a bad diet. They ate less of a bad diet. They lost all their muscle. They lost fat with it, but they lost a lot of muscle. And then they come off Ozempic and they have no muscle and they gain the fat back. And it's like, what are we doing? So it's a cycle. There's definitely a need for it, right? Like helpful in the diabetic population, helpful for people that really do need to lose weight. Like you're probably better off losing the weight than just keeping it on and not taking it.